Freaking drive.
Game over.
Take it light. Stay.
Now you're more fluent.
He got three.
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, what up? What's going on this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world? How are you this evening? Hope everything is good. We have news. As you all know, we are smack dab in the middle of free agency. In the process of being in the middle of free agency, we also have the Olympics going on, have the Olympic friendlies going on. So as you know, the actual games don't start for another week or two, for another week. And as I said, you know, the gold medal game, the gold medal game is, I believe, August the 10th. So, I mean, that's a good thing. We still have that going on. But we have a development, right? We have a bit of a development here. And with as good as these players are, if we're being honest with ourselves, right? If we're being honest with ourselves, we have to face reality. A lot of these guys are still awesome, but the household name of Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, it's not that it's fading, because I don't think it's fading. I think these guys are still relevant in every way possible, but it's obvious that they're long in the tooth. And what happens when you're long in the tooth? You're more prone to injury. For example, KD is sitting out of the exhibition game tonight because of a strained calf. And you guys know how I feel about those calf injuries. You know that I am not a fan of those. You know that. Heart conditions and calf injuries. Because the calf injury, you live in the same neighborhood with the Achilles. You live on the same block. Not in the same city. Not in the same area code. You live on the same block. The house is 2 doors down. You know how I feel about that. And KD has this calf strain, and we've seen this movie already. We know what it looks like. Well, Kawhi Leonard, with his blessing, has decided to bow out of the Olympics because he's clearly not healthy. And it's not just him, right? I don't think that it's just him who decided to bow out. We're talking about Team USA, the officials who saw him this first week of practice and thought, uh-oh, this isn't what we thought it was. He's clearly not where we need him to be in order for him to be productive. He's clearly not where we need him to be. Now, there's some speculation that, you know, if Kawhi Leonard really wanted to play, right? If he really wanted to play, he would play. Really? I mean, if that's true, then we could say that about a whole bunch of guys. If they really wanted to play, they would play. I'm 100% confident. Chris Bosh really wanted to play. Pat Riley was not having any of it. Pat Riley was having none of that. The last thing that I'm trying to hear is you passing out on national television and dying. No, not on my watch. Hell no. I don't think so. And Team USA, if Kawhi really wanted to play, there would be some stipulations. And I don't mean like signing a waiver. It would be something more like, well, I think it would be more. I think it would be something more like he probably isn't going to play, but him being in the uniform to get a gold medal. And I don't think that that's something that he would do. That's like sitting on the bench and stealing the championship on the way out. Nah, I think he's above that. But he told us about this situation years ago. And I said to you guys, I said this to you guys probably, I think either last year or 2 years ago. I said to you guys, I said to you guys probably last year, I don't think he's going to hold up. I don't think he's going to be in the league. And I think it was the beginning of this season. I told you guys, I don't think he's going to be in the league in 2 years. I don't think his body's going to hold up. I don't. He doesn't have a broken bone. He doesn't have a torn ligament. He has a condition that's not getting better. In fact, it's going to get worse as he ages. And because it's going to get worse, it's going to hamper him. But he tricked you guys. Me too. I'm not going to just say you guys. He tricked me too. And how did he trick me? He tricked me by playing 65 games. I think that's the most games he played since the 16-17 season. So we're looking at 7-8 years. This is the most games he played this season. And he looked like Kawhi Leonard in year 6. And I'm thinking, did somebody trick me? Did I get gassed? Only for him to break down in the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years. This is who he is. By no fault of his own. By no fault of his own. He's got a condition. He's got a degenerative knee. And as time moves forward, it's just getting worse. I saw some pictures of him. I think he was in Costa Rica. And by the way, he just started playing basketball again because he already came into this thing hurt. He had missed the whole playoffs. So he was selected to be on the Olympic team. He just started playing basketball a couple of weeks ago. I don't start playing basketball or pick up basketball or just getting some shots up. I don't start by doing that. No, what I do is I jump right into the fray with Team USA, with James and Anthony Davis and Bam, Embiid, Jason Tatum. I jump right into the fray with these guys, right? I jump right into the fire with these guys, knowing that it's clear that I'm not available. And Team USA, the officials, they saw it. With them seeing it, they had to pull the plug on this thing. They called up the Clippers staff. Hey, man, we got you. We have your guy here, and he doesn't look good. And I'm sure the Clippers applauded then, hey, shut this thing down. Because the last thing that we need is for him to have another situation where he's not available again. Which leads me to my next point, that I actually think that he was hurting all last season, but I think that he played as many games as he possibly could to show that he could be available when in reality he wasn't, and to make the All-NBA team to show that he still had it when I think that's a fluke because he missed the playoffs again. But the Clippers end up extending him anyway. Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys who, when he stops playing, I would not be surprised if I never saw him again. That would not surprise me if he just faded into oblivion and I never saw him again. That would not surprise me one bit. And it's not that I don't think he loves the game, because I do think he does. I just think that his body is not going to allow him to continue. I'm telling you that right now. His body physically, you see his skill set, you see how good he is, but his body physically is not going to allow him to continue. I don't see him playing out this contract with the Clippers is a 3-year extension. I don't see him playing this contract out. I don't. And I don't see him playing this contract out for one reason and one reason only. His body's not going to hold up. Not because his skill set has diminished, not because he can't shoot the mid-range, not because he can't shoot the long ball, because he can still do that. It's just physically he can't hold up. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. And we knew this years ago. when it first started happening. How did we know this? We knew this because he told us. He told us when he was with the Spurs, hey, man, something's wrong with my knee. And the Spurs, down being the organization that they are, and they're looking out for themselves 100%. You can be now. I want to make sure I'm clear, and I'm going to keep going with the point that I'm making. But you can be a first-class organization, but still look out for you. And if I'm paying a guy X amount of dollars, I expect him to be at work. So Leonard is telling them, yo, there's something wrong with my knee. And the doctors are telling him, no, it's not. You cleared to go. And he's telling them, look at me. Something's wrong here. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong here. I think it's all in your head. I think that you're faking this. So now this turns into there's something wrong with my knee too. You guys are jeopardizing my quality of life. Not only are you jeopardizing my career, you're jeopardizing my quality of life. I want out of here. I don't want anything else to do with this. I don't. I'm not playing another minute for you guys. You guys don't care one bit about me. And Greg Popovich said, okay. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not just going to hand you over for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack. I'm definitely not doing that. And I'm not giving you to the Lakers. No way am I doing that. Let's get to the bottom of that right now. Two things are not happening. One, I am not handing you over for a bucket of extra crispy. And two, I'm not giving you to the Lakers. They're going to have to pay a substantial price, which I know for a fact that they're not willing to pay. I know that. I know that for a fact that they're not willing to pay that. So, because of that, I'm going to get top dollar for you. And what was top dollar? I ended up getting DeMar DeRozan. And it worked in Toronto because they said, all right, we understand your condition. We'll work with you. We'll work with you. Yeah, we will work with you. And to be quite honest with you, as good as he was during that 2018, 2019 run, he was beat up. Oh, he was hurting. 100% he was hurting. He got through it, but he was hurting. And the actual Kawhi Leonard, as time went on, it just got progressively worse. And now we're at a point where not only has it gotten progressively worse, it can't be reversed. Because it's a condition. This, again, I can't say this to you guys enough. This isn't a torn ligament in my elbow. This isn't my shoulder being knocked out the socket, right? This isn't a cut underneath my eye. This isn't my foot being broken where this can heal. No, this is a condition that he has, which is going to get worse as time goes on. But we got tricked. Me, present company included. We got tricked. The Clippers got tricked because what he did was he played the way he played and made us think he still got it. Which, does he still have it? Yeah, he does still have it. But physically, he doesn't. Physically, he's not going to hold up. And this Olympics is evident. So what does this mean? Not for Team USA, because without Leonard in the lineup, it wasn't like I feel like he wasn't going to play that much anyway. So it's not like this is a situation where, damn, they lose James or they lose Jason Tatum, somebody that's probably going to play a lot. They lose Embiid. No, this is not that kind of situation. And I'm going to get to Embiid in a minute. But what does this mean for Team USA? I don't really think it means much, to be honest with you, off the strength that he wasn't going to play that much anyway. And to replace him with Derek White, who is another, I feel like, component that they need, because we have plenty of scorers. Tatum, KD, James. We got shooting. Curry, Book, James, Anthony Edwards. We got scoring. We got shooting. We got box work. Bam. Anthony Davis. Joel Embiid. Okay. We got distributors. We got Tyrese Halliburton on the crew. We got James on the crew. We have that stuff. Okay, well, what about the other stuff? That's the million-dollar question. What about the other stuff? Who's diving on the floor for loose balls? Who's taking the assignment when we play Spain and we need a stop? Who's doing that? I can tell you who ain't doing it. KD ain't doing it. I can tell you who ain't doing it. Tyrese Halliburton ain't doing it. You know who is doing it? Drew Holiday's doing it. You know who is doing it? Derek White will do it. I'll deal with him. Derek White, Drew Holiday. Those are the guys on the bench when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, looking down at the bench, asking KD, asking James, asking these guys, can you score the rest of the points? Okay. Don't worry about Micic. I'll deal with him for the rest of the night. Don't worry about him. I'll deal with him. And that's what you need on a team like this, to put another bucket getter. Okay, we don't need that. We don't. That's not necessary. So I don't think that this means much for Team USA. I don't think that this means much for them. However, who this does mean a lot for, it's the Clippers. Because when they got the call that, hey, your man isn't correct. In fact, not only is your man not correct, this thing's pretty bad. Is it? Yes, this thing is pretty bad. So we're going to shut him down. What does shutting him down mean? Shutting him down means that we're probably not going to take him with us. We're not going to take him with us. So that means with the Clippers, are we finding ourselves back in 2021, 2022, 2020? Are we finding ourselves back there? And the reason why I'm asking that is because we've seen this movie before, right? So in 2021 in the playoffs, Leonard tears his knee up. It's only a partial tear, but he ends up missing the rest of the playoffs and the 21-22 season. So then they manage him really well in 22-23. They manage him. And they start to ramp up his minutes. They start to ramp up his minutes later in the season. And then come playoffs, he looks like he could probably be the best player in the playoffs. Only breaks down. Here's your problem. And then last year, okay, he goes on a mission. I want to show that I am healthy. I want to show that I still have the goods. Well, him showing that he still had the goods, he still broke down before the playoffs started. So now here we are in the summer of 24, and he's going to rehab, and he's going to be ready for the season. Okay, there is no rehab. Again, I can't reiterate this to you guys enough. This is a condition that he has that has to be managed. So now the Clippers are looking at this like, oh, man, we just extended him for $150 million for the next 3 years. So we're on the hook for another $153 million over the next 3 years, and we're opening up a new building. Well, we can't open up a new building introducing Russell Westbrook and Zubac and Terrence Mann. No, we can't do that. That's not going to sell tickets. No, nobody's coming out to see that. No. They're all coming out to see James Harden. They're all coming out to see Kawhi Leonard. But they're not going to be able to come out to see him if Leonard doesn't hold up. So what does this mean for the Clippers? This could be one of the worst case scenarios where this thing is a lot worse than what we know. It's a lot worse than what we know. And it's going to get even worse. That could very well be the case because I've told you guys already about this. I already told you guys about this. This is a condition. This isn't something that's just with some rehab can go away. No, that's not the way that this happens. And what does this mean for the Clippers long term? Well, we signed these guys in the beginning, both him and Paul George. We signed them in the beginning of the 2019-2020 season. So that was 5 seasons ago. And what have we gotten in the last 5 years? We got one trip to the West Finals. And we haven't been out of the first. We've been out of the first round of the playoffs. What, twice? Twice. We got beat by the Dallas Mavericks in 20. Not beat by the Dallas Mavericks. I'm sorry. We got beat by the Denver Nuggets in 20. We were up 3-1. Should have beat them. They came back and beat us. We ended up in the Western Conference Finals in 21. In 22, we don't make the playoffs. In 23, we get bounced in round one. In 24, last year, we get bounced in round one again. So 1920, 2021, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24. In the 5 years that both him and Paul George have been there, we've been out of the first round of the playoffs. We've been to the Western Conference Championship one time. We've been to the semifinals once. 3 of the 5 years, we've gotten bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I'm sorry, 2 of the 5 years. One of those years we didn't make the playoffs. And there's a reason why they moved off of Paul George. The reason why they moved off of Paul George is because this thing was a failure. They had already extended Leonard because, again, this was throughout the season. He looked like he was going to hold up. And them extending him was like, yeah, he is going to hold up. No, not at all. Not at all. So now the Clippers find themselves with a 2-year deal with James Harden for $70 million, which he's not leaving any of that money on the table. He's not opting out after 1 year. He's leaving all of that. He's taking all of that money with him because he's not going to see another payday like that. By the time this contract is up, he'll be 36, and he's not seeing another deal like that. So he's taking all of that money. Leonard, on the other hand, we definitely know. Actually, we definitely don't know. But from what I've seen, he does not look like he's going to hold up. He doesn't. So now the LA Clippers find themselves in a situation where we're paying James Harden, we're paying Kawhi Leonard. We got to do something with Russell Westbrook. Off the strength that I really don't think you have to do anything with Russ, but you have to do something with Russ because Russ has an expiring deal. I personally don't think that he should be traded. I think he could help you guys. But this is a pretty bad scenario for the Clippers. This is where they find themselves. And now what do we do about this? What do we do about this? So with that being said, Team USA, they get the Kraken tonight. Yep. Team USA gets it on tonight. And with them getting it on, we get to see, games at 10:30 tonight, we get to see what exactly it is these guys look like. And I got something brought to my attention earlier today, which does make a lot of sense. Because I think the Clippers made the call also. I think they gave the thumbs up to shut this down with Leonard. Why aren't the 76ers doing the same thing with Joel Embiid? Because Paul George is in the same situation that he was in Los Angeles with Kawhi Leonard. Right? He's in the same situation. So with him being in the same situation that he's in with Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid more than likely is going to break down again. So why, if you're the 76ers, why would you risk that? Because he's going to play significant minutes for Team USA. 100% he is. So you basically are in the same situation as the Clippers are. Because the last thing you want is for Joel Embiid to get hurt in the Olympics. Not to diminish the Olympics now. I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. The Olympics mean a lot more to these international players than it does to the Americans. That's not to say that it doesn't mean a lot to the Americans to represent your country and play in the Olympics, but it means a lot more to these other players to represent your country. You saw Giannis basically getting emotional. He got emotional when Greece ended up qualifying for the Olympics. He was in tears. I vividly remember hearing Mehmet Okur, who is from Turkey, talk about when Bryant didn't play in the Olympics in 2000 because he got married that summer. And it conflicted with his wedding. And I vividly remember Mehmet Okur saying, had Turkey qualified for the Olympics, my wedding would have gotten pushed back. End quote. That's how much the Olympics means to these international players. So with that being said, the last thing you want is for Joel Embiid to get hurt. I don't want that to happen. I do not want that to happen to Joel Embiid because these guys value, especially these guys on the Olympic team, they value the NBA season way more than they value the Olympics. Even though the Olympics is a big, big deal, huge deal. I think that they value the NBA season way more. And the last thing that you want is for Joel Embiid, who came into the league broken and has been broken for the majority of his career. For the majority of his career, he's been broken. So, what's to say that he's not going to break down again? And I don't want that. I do not want Joel Embiid to break down again, particularly in the Olympics. It just looks bad. And it's been, let's see, they just started, today is Wednesday, I'm sorry, and they just started practice a couple of days ago. I think that they just started practice a couple of days ago. And he's been removed from playing since the end of April. Yeah, since the end of April. I think Game 7 was on like May the. I can check right now, but I think it was in like the first week of May. So he probably hasn't been doing much in terms of running in the last 2 months. It's been 2 months. So I doubt that he's been doing much. And Philly is taking a big risk, a huge risk with him playing in the Olympics. A huge risk with him playing in the Olympics. So I'll be interested to see how this whole thing pans out with him. Now, Team USA plays Canada tonight in a friendly, but I don't think that there's anything friendly about this. From a talent standpoint, Team USA is clearly superior. Even though Canada got a good team with SGA, RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Jamal Murray. They got a good team over there. I would have liked to have seen Andrew Wiggins go, but because I think he would have made them even better than what they already are. But they got a good team over there. So, despite the idea that this is a friendly, no, Team Canada wants to make some noise. 100% they do, and I don't blame them. I do not blame them, and the reason why I don't blame them is because when's the last time Canada really had a good team in the Olympics? I don't remember the last time they had a good team in the Olympics, but they got a good team now. And with that being said, I'll be interested to see, one, who starts, two, what kind of action they run with Team USA. Because in my estimation, because no KD tonight neither. And even if KD was playing, my starting lineup would be James at the 1, Curry at the 2, Tatum at the 3, Anthony Davis at the 4, Joel Embiid at the 5. That's my starting 5. And I actually had, before this whole thing happened, I had Kawhi Leonard in my closing lineup depending on how close games were, and we needed stops, right? And we needed stops. I had Anthony Davis, Bam, Leonard on my front line, and I had Drew Holiday and James. But I'm swapping out Kawhi Leonard for Jason Tatum. Because he will defend. 100% he will defend. I think that James, more than anything, the distributor that he is, the playmaker that he is, captain of the team, it's obvious, right? It's obvious that he still has the goods. I mean, it was a consensus from the crew, the entire crew, that was like, he's the best player here at 39 years old. So I take no issue with that. I don't. I take no issue with that whatsoever. I think that Team USA should win the gold medal. This should not be a question. But I still, for the life of me, man, I still think, despite how they are putting units together, I still wish that they would, I still wish that we could get a national team where we could get some consistency. Very much like what happened in 2008 when we got commitments from James and we got a commitment from Carmelo Anthony. We got a commitment from Dwayne Wade. We got a commitment from Chris Bosh, right? When we got commitments from these guys to play in the Olympics. Very much like they did with Spain. I reference the team that I reference more than any team. Whenever I watch the Olympics, whenever I watch gold medal games, whenever I watch the preliminary rounds, the team that I reference the most of all the teams is I referenced that Spanish team in 2008. That was a damn good team with Rudy Fernandez, with Pau Gasol, with Ricky Rubio, with his brother Marc Gasol. They had a damn good squad. And with them having the squad that they had, that was largely due to them staying together. A lot of that had to do with them basically growing up together. Gasol was on the same team with Rudy Fernandez, with Ricky Rubio. I mean, I think they won a silver twice. They won it in 2008 and they won it in 2012. That's a damn good team. I'd like to see our national team. I feel like if we had that kind of commitment, I think it would be a much better product. Not that it's not a good product now. I just feel like it would be a much better product. A way better product. But when I think about Team USA and the future of it, I don't mind having Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Bam Adebayo being the foundation of the Olympics for the future. If I could get commitments from those dudes, I need an 8-year commitment from you dudes. 8 years. I need an 8-year commitment from you guys. I would love that. Because I feel like the foundation of our national team would be stamped. I feel like the foundation of our national team would be stamped. It would be very much, right? I feel like it would be very much like building a unit. Like in the NBA, you got a franchise player, right? You got a franchise player. In addition to having a franchise player, you got building blocks. You got cornerstones. So I feel like if they did that, I think the product for USA basketball, I feel like it would be stronger, and I feel like it would be more sustainable if they did that. I think that would be dope. So I'm interested to hear from you guys. I am. I'm interested to hear from you guys about Team USA. I'm interested to hear from you guys about Kawhi Leonard and what you think. What's up, brother?
What up, Chill? Can you hear me?
What's going on, guy? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to talk about the Kawhi Leonard situation. So
Sure.
I think with Kawhi, I think he's done. Like I think it's coming to an end with Kawhi. I think I think people have this kind of misconception that Kawhi is not injured. This is just him. Like he's got a problem with his knee. Like it's not an injury. That Joel Embiid is injury prone. Kawhi Leonard has a problem. Like there's a difference. So the amount of health. Now you're talking about how long was he there for with Team USA? What, 3 days?
He just got there. He just got there. Wasn't there a week?
He did the scrimmage, and I honestly think that they looked at him and said, I think they asked him, "Are you all good?" Because they must have saw this don't look right. They said to him, "You good?" And he said, "Nah." And they said to him, "I think it might be good for you to go home because there's no point of risking this." I think all of the people that are there. I mean, you've got Van Gundy, you've got Kerr, you've got Grant Hill. And Grant Hill would know because he was somebody that had to suffer through a lot of these injuries. So
sure.
I think he probably looked at Kawhi and said to him, I don't think it's the best. You need to find a way to get healthy. So I think the Clippers, you know what? I don't think the Clippers think this is as much of a problem as you people would believe. I think yes, they did pay 153 million, but they'll get a lot of that money from Kawhi back from the stadium opening, saying out some seats. It's a nice stadium. I think what people have to realize about someone like Steve Ballmer is rich, and part of that is because was a part of Microsoft for a long time, but he's not this necessarily heady businessman that kind of knows exactly what the trends are going to be in basketball. You can kind of see that through his career at Microsoft. Like at his time at Microsoft, there was a lot of things that he missed, and a lot of time he spent a lot of money on things that did go bust. So I don't think he's necessarily averse to having Kawhi there for 153 million. I just think that I just think by the end of it, you're going to see maybe next year they're going to have to work out a situation where they maybe sit Kawhi Leonard down or maybe go to the NBA to get some exemption because he can't. I don't think he can play. This is kind of like a Brandon Roy situation. He can't play. He's not going to be able to stay healthy. So you're going to get to the same point every single year. The only issue now is he's a year older than he was before.
If this was Amari, if this was a thing where it was one time and then it happened again, I don't know, let's say 6-7 years later, then maybe we can look at it differently. But this is an ongoing thing. And not only is it ongoing, Amari, it's gotten progressively worse as time has gone on.
And he doesn't like playing on it.
Well, to your point, when you talk about what Grant Hill saw, what the officials at Team USA saw, I don't think it's ridiculous to say Leonard probably told him, "No, I'm good," and they maybe had to save him from himself because more times than not, unless you make me get off the floor, I'm not going to get off the floor.
That's true.
I'm looking at Leonard, who probably wants to show that I still got it, I can still do it, and they saw him, and it's probably best if you come off the floor. And I think that they got on the phone with the Clipper officials.
Do you think his teammates got involved?
No, not. I don't even know if it's his teammates more than it was the officials.
Yeah.
From USA Basketball and the Clippers, whether they probably sent somebody from the Clippers organization to Vegas to check him out.
Yeah. So how far is it?
And to see how far he was, to see if he was advancing, and it was obvious that it wasn't happening. It was obvious. So it's in our best interest to shut him down.
So you played. I mean, so you played basketball. So I think if you saw somebody on the court with you and you saw them kind of laboring and limping, would you suggest them to sit out? Would you tell them that, I'm not considering that you know what's wrong with him at this point? Would you say anything to him? Would you just kind of just let him play? Because remember, he affects the whole team.
It depends on what my relationship is with him. Because the last thing that I want to do is I want to deprive somebody of what they love. But if this is somebody that I care about, if this is my man, it's obvious that you can't go. So it's probably best if you called it.
And how bad do you think it must have been, though, for it to be that point? Because it must have been really bad.
Amari, they sent them home.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that
We
before.
just opened training camp. Literally, today is Wednesday. I think they just got started like last Friday. We barely been in this a week.
But if he can't get through that, how's he going to get through the season?
He's not. That's why I feel like this is worse for the Clippers than it is for Team USA.
Oh, Team USA will be fine.
Yeah.
The Clippers, I don't think. Again, I think this was more of a lateral move. I don't think they gave Kawhi Leonard the extension for Kawhi Leonard. Think they gave the extension because I think when you have a team like the Clippers who need to attract star players, they need to show that they can take care of people long term. They can't just, they're not the type of team where people just want to go to them. So they have to go out of their way. This is kind of what the Lakers did with Kobe towards the end of his career. They kind of realized that. Thank you, money. Yeah, it is the most successful tenure of the Clippers basketball that we've seen. So if you're looking at this as a free agent, you feel like Steve Ballmer will take care of me despite being injured. But he only will do that to a point because apparently what Paul George was saying that he felt disrespected in the negotiations. So I don't know how much value they have for Kawhi, but I don't think this is. Kawhi is one of my favorite players, and it's kind of sad to see a guy like this. And I wonder how he will be looked at because he's going to be an all-time great performer. But his numbers, when people start looking at his career and didn't see him play, his numbers are going to reflect a guy. I mean, he's going to have less points than Joe Johnson, for goodness sake. Less all-star appearances. I think it's pretty much over at this point. It's just kind of sad to see for Kawhi, actually.
Yeah. I to be honest with you, I can't disagree with you, Amari. So it's good to talk to you, brother. I know where to find you at. Yeah. What up?
What's going on, OG? It's a pleasure to meet you, man. I seen you on Pick a Side podcast, so I just want to say salute to you and keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate what you do for the game, man. I have a passion and love for it, and I can tell you do too.
Thanks, brother.
But one thing, OG, see, I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, so I can't let nobody just talk about. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? There's a lot of disrespect going on. Oh, is DeRozan going to do this? DeRozan going to do that for us? I mean, we could go toe-to-toe with anybody in the Western Conference, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about that Kawhi and what's going on.
Sure.
For me, I respect Kawhi's decision or whoever's decision it was. You know, I really don't think you had to send anybody down there from the Clippers. I mean, you had Ty Lue right there, head coach. So he probably
there's your official right there. There's your official right there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, we need him. New arena, he got to be healthy because he got to spell out. And will Kawhi win another ring? Most likely not. But, you know, we can't predict the future or whatnot. But I think my issue is, and I've been saying this for like the last month when the rosters had came out. So I was looking and we see players like, and I agree with you with what you said about this young core that we have, developing them, watching them practice with Team USA veterans like LeBron and KD. I agree that, Tatum, Anthony Edwards, these guys need to be a part of this because we want them to carry the torch for that next Olympics or the next two Olympics. I agree with that 100%.
I would just love to see. I would love to see us get a commitment from those guys that,
of course.
I need. That's why, and even though they didn't win the gold, the team that I always reference is that 2008 Spanish team. Those guys grew up together.
Right. Literally
grew up together. They've been playing together since like 19 years old.
Yeah.
That Argentinian team with Manu Ginobili, those guys grew up together. They ended up winning the gold medal. I do think there's some validity in building a unit.
Of course.
And the reason why I feel like there's some validity in it is because it's sustainable when we build something as opposed to when we throw pieces together. I mean, that can fall apart quickly.
Yeah.
That's not something that I don't feel like that's something that's sustainable. Even though you are more talented,
at
some point I feel like at some point it could come back to bite you. I do.
Yeah, that too. I think it goes both ways a little bit. I think the reason why you can clearly look at this roster and tell that that's the goal is continuity and team fitting together, not just star players. But at what point is it so many role players to where, like, hey, bro, don't worry, we down by 20. Let's just sub Derek White in. Like, no disrespect to Derek White, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, it's like, I agree. You have to have people that mesh together and fit together. It's ego for these NBA players, though.
Right.
It's like, I'm all NBA second team, but I'm on this bench right now.
Now, remember who we're dealing with here, right? And if you look at the landscape of the unit, right? So you got James and you got KD, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, right? You
Right.
basically have the Avengers, but you know who's sweeping up the arena, right? Who's taking out the trash? Because
Exactly.
we already have those other guys, right?
Right.
We got the guys who put the show on, but who's cleaning up?
Exactly.
That's Drew Holiday. That's Derek White, right? That's those guys. And those guys are ridiculously valuable. Like, we need them.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I see 3 players on that roster that Jaylen Brown could take any other spot. Like he should.
See, that's the thing. And of those 3 guys, who are the 3 guys you think should come off the roster for Jaylen Brown?
Halliburton, Derek White, or Drew Holiday. You pick. I'd prefer Derek White or Halliburton to come off.
Number one, I think Jaylen Brown is in Mecca, so I don't really think he's interested in playing in the Olympics. That's number one. Number two, I feel like the stuff that he does for the fit that we're talking about with the Olympic team, for the fit, I think they already straight with what they have.
Yeah,
now,
but, I mean, you had Kawhi.
Now Leonard, that's Jaylen Brown's spot right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying, Coach.
That's his spot. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but you gonna get another point guard, like, huh?
I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
And KD right now, we don't know what's going on with him. I mean, I'm sure he'll be healthy, but I mean, you know what I'm. And plus, if you look at it, like, you want Tatum, you want Anthony Edwards, these younger guys to be with us for 8 years. Why not have Jaylen Brown? They're the same age as Tatum, pretty much.
To be honest with you, I would much rather go younger. If I could go younger,
of course,
that would be even better. Like, if I could if I could get Paolo on the crew, if I could get
Paolo,
Tesla on the crew, right? If I can get guys like that,
I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. Put Keegan Murray for Kawhi.
I could get Keegan Murray on the crew. If I can go younger and get a 24-year-old, and now I'm building this thing even more than what I talked about, because now I'm 100% confident I can get a commitment from Keegan Murray. I'm sure of that.
Absolutely.
I'm 100% confident I can get a commitment from him. He would definitely be down to do it.
Yeah, yes. It's tough though. You know, I mean, man, Jaylen Brown has more Finals MVP than Tatum, Derek White, and Drew Holiday combined.
Right.
And he ain't on the team.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, we could say the same thing. I mean, Chauncey Billups wasn't on the team in 2004. He won the Finals MVP. I mean, we could say the same thing. If you think about, you know, with the I mean, in 2008, I mean, Paul Pierce wasn't on the team. He wasn't on the Olympic team. And he was the Finals MVP. So, I mean, a guy like Derek White, I think the thing we're missing with Derek White, and I can appreciate your logic with Keegan Murray, but I think the thing we're missing with Derek White is the utility guy that he is. Just like Drew Holiday, the utility guy that he is. I think Jaylen Brown is less of a utility guy and more of a bucket getter.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it's vice versa. Like, they're more of that. They're going to give you that hustle, that they have a defensive prowess to them. Holiday and Derek White, they can score clearly. They can catch fire, but I don't think it's as consistent as JB. And it goes.
But that's the point.
Yeah,
I
agree with
you, Jay. And that's the point right there, because we already, that thing that, like you just talked about with Jaylen Brown, they can't score as consistently as Jaylen Brown. Well, we already have that with James, with KD, with Curry, with Devin Booker, with Anthony Edwards. We already got bucket getters. We straight. That's not to discredit you, Jaylen Brown, because for lack of a better term, you are fantastic. Let's be clear about that right now. It's just that on this unit, for what we need, we already have that. What we need is the other stuff, which is what Drew Holiday provides, which is what Derek White provides. That utility guy, that guy that'll do the other stuff and not worry about scoring. I won't have to worry about. Derek White isn't a lead guard more than he's a utility guy. Whatever it is you need, I'll go in there and rebound for you. Tyrese Halliburton ain't doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll defend. I'll deal with what's his name from Greece, the point guard. He nice as hell too, by the way. I'll deal with him.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Who are we scared of?
That's what I'm talking about. It's like,
who are we scared of over there though, to where we need the Derek Whites and Drew Holiday? Well,
see, that's the thing. I do think that you need those guys to lessen that fear. You need Drew Holiday.
But everybody that we would be afraid of is big. They're not point guards or guards. It's going to be Giannis. It's going to be Jokic. It's going to be Wemby and Gobert out there.
Right.
Those is the only. We're not.
Now I understand,
and that's just a different perspective. I was watching Gil's Arena, and that was what he was saying over there, because he's for, like, man, just get Kyrie, get all the hoopers. So I want to propose both perspectives because I hear what you're saying too. Like you need that fit, those dogs out there that are going to clean up.
Yeah.
But when he put it that way, it's like that is true. Who is we scared of? Really? I mean, Luka's not playing this year, so it's like there's everyone we scared of is big. We don't need 6'3"
You'll
guards.
see. I can tell you right now, Jay. When you watch the Olympics, like the point guard for Greece, he nice as hell.
I'm gonna look out for him for sure.
Yes, I forget how to say his last name. The point guard for Greece, he is nice. I think I don't think he plays for Olympiacos, but I know he plays in the EuroLeague. He nice as hell. Let's see. Dennis Schroeder is with Germany, but they also got another league guard. He nice too.
Germany, Canada. We're gonna see what they do, but they don't really have no bigs.
And we already know that they got Jamal Murray. We already know that they have wings. I know that
France. That's really it.
And Serbia. I mean, Serbia got Joker, but Serbia got a real good point guard too, yo. They do. Serbia got a good point guard too.
Yeah,
so
Serbia.
Those are the three teams. Those are the three teams that I'm sorry if I draw a blank on their names because
I'll be on the lookout for the point guard.
Yes, Greece got a damn good point guard.
Serbia.
Germany got real good guard play, and Serbia got good guard play. All three of those have good guard play. I can appreciate Gil's logic about just having the ballers. I can appreciate that, but I really like the utility guys because I feel like we're building something when we have I'm willing to bet that I could get a commitment from Derek White in 2028 in Los Angeles too. I bet I could get a commitment.
White's what, like 30?
Is he that old?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's like he might be 28. If you want to do
if he's that old, then I want to go younger. I do.
Yeah, that's what
guys like him, Drew Holiday, James.
Let me see real quick. I got it.
With guys like that, I'm gonna go younger, like Drew Holiday, Derek White.
Derek White's 30, and I think Drew Holiday is like 32.
And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about getting commitments from Jason Tatum.
Exactly.
Who's 26.
And that's what I'm saying. Jaylen Brown, you gotta
just turned 26. Guys like I feel like with guys like that, I feel like we're building something with Team USA. So it's good to talk to you though, Jay. I appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. What up?
What up, too?
Yo.
I've been keeping up with the Olympics, but I've been keeping up with Summer League. Like, what changed your mind about the Raptors, bro? Like, what you like about the Raptors so much now?
I just like the developmental point. I just like the developmental system. I've always liked what they've done with their developmental system. I just wasn't sure what they were doing. But the fact that they bagged Scotty Barnes, the fact that they extended Quigley, they got RJ Barrett on the cheap. It looks to me like they're actually building something in Toronto. It looks like they're on their way to building something. I would have loved for Zach Edey to drop to Toronto because I think he would have been perfect for them. I think he would have been fantastic for them. But it looks like they have a plan, and that's why I'm interested in what they're doing up in Toronto.
So, how good do you think Scotty Barnes could be?
I think he could be a perennial All-Star. I think he could be an All-NBA. I think he could be an All-NBA defender, and I think he could be an All-NBA performer multiple years. Now, is he going to be an All-NBA performer every year? No, but I do think that he can play at that level. I do.
I think that Scotty Barnes can run an offense like a Jokic or a Luka, not to the same level, but like to a 75% offense. The way he rebounds, the way he passes, the way he is at his point forward. That's how good I think he is, as well as an NBA defender.
I do think he's a franchise player, though. I do think that he's a guy that you can build it around. See, there aren't many teams that I think have a franchise player. And just because you pay a guy does not necessarily mean he's a franchise player. But in this particular situation, I think Scotty Barnes is a franchise player. Just like I think Cade Cunningham. Now we have a direction. Right? We can build it around this guy, as opposed to we don't really know what we're doing. Okay, now we got this guy solid, and we can build around him. Now you have Scotty Barnes. You know what he is as a defender. You know what he is as a transition player. You know what he can continue to become, and you can build around that, as opposed to throwing different guys out there. I don't think that that's the direction that you want to go. And congratulations to your Panthers. I know they took some years off your life. I know that for a fact. But
I got one more question there. How do you feel about the Charlotte Hornets, man? Because I've been watching them in the summer league. I think Charles Lee will like turn around in like 3 years.
Hmm.
I
think that
like
I
he's from the Celtics.
yes, I did know that. LaMelo Ball is the linchpin there, man. I mean, because Brandon Miller actually turned out to be a good player. Mark Williams, I feel like I think that's the Knicks starting big. I think he's a really good young talent. If you can continue to develop those guys and LaMelo Ball stay healthy, I think that because they do have some talent down there with Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams. I feel like they have some talent down there. With that being said, if LaMelo Ball can stay healthy, which he hasn't been, I think he's had 2 season-ending injuries. If he can stay healthy, I think it'll be a lot better for the Charlotte Hornets than it is now.
I appreciate you, sir.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you. What up?
Hey, Chuck, what you saying?
What's up, brother? Yep.
I got one thing I need to get out there. I feel like what Team USA is doing is actually the right way. I feel like LeBron, KD, Curry, all them, they're setting the right example for the youngins and how they should represent the country. I feel like what they're doing with Team USA Select is like building up the next generation. You feel what I'm saying? They all, Jaime Hackers, they got Cooper Flay, all those dudes, they're right there with them in the camp. They play with them. They're still developing them. All that. Like instead of, I feel like if these LeBrons and these KDs were like a Diana Taurasi situation where they weren't good enough to, I feel like Taurasi, she's not fully ready. She's not what she once was. We know the legend that she is, but like
right
on Team USA today, I don't feel like she should be there. But I can understand why. But LeBron, KD, these dudes are still in top 10 conversation. I feel like they can still provide something. Now, Kawhi Leonard is a whole different situation because this guy is injured left and right. Joel Embiid, I mean, I'm not one to say who's from which country or not, but I wouldn't have been mad if he was excluded because I feel like at some point you go back far enough, everybody else from a whole different country. But anyways, that's all I got off.
Sure. Good to talk to you, brother. Good to talk to
God
you.
bless.
Yep. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. To your point, I mean, Kobe said Zach Edey is with Team Canada. No, he actually isn't. He bowed out of the Olympics because he wants to concentrate on the Memphis Grizzlies. He's in the summer league, so that's not true. That's not true at all. So he's making it clear that he's sticking with the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's going to make them a lot better. And I can definitely appreciate that. So, what up, D?
What's good? What's good,
What's
Chill?
up,
How you
brother?
doing?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing, man. I got a quick question for you, and I'll hop off.
Yep.
So it's about Kawhi. Now, with Kawhi, do you think the Clippers are looking at him kind of sideways because he didn't play in them playoffs like that? And then he's going to go play over there.
I think that they feel maybe tricked, and they're trying to recoup what they could potentially lose. That's why they shut him down. That's why they were part of shutting him down, off the strength that the amount of games he played this year, I think he was a lot more banged up than people know. I think he was a lot more hurt than people know, but he gutted through it, which earned him an extension. And in the process of that, he didn't play the entire playoffs. With him not playing in the playoffs, the Clippers maybe thought it was a good idea for him to play in the Olympics, to get him, to keep him in shape and to keep him sharp, only to find out that
it's worse.
He's not. It's way worse.
It has to be bad if the way it went down.
They sent them home, D.
That's what I mean. They had to be home. Bad.
They had to. They called up some people. The head coach of the Olympic team is on the staff, and he had to okay this.
Right.
Which tells me that this thing was bad, real bad.
Yeah, I agree. And it wasn't like he was gonna play a lot, like you said, but still. In fact, they was like, no, you can't even be on the bench, bro. Go back home. Go back home. Now, do you think, finding this out, do you think the Clippers do you think if they knew how bad it was, do you think they would have signed Paul George?
No, I don't think so. I think that
you don't think it would have mattered?
I think they were out on Paul George anyway, considering what had happened already with this unit. I mean, we're talking
Right.
5 years. We're talking 5 years, D. And in the 5 years, what have we gotten? We got one trip to the West Finals, one trip to the West Finals, then another trip out of the first round, missed the playoffs, bounced in the first round twice. I mean,
True.
I think that the Clippers, I mean, they sort of writing on the wall. I think they got tricked by Leonard and they're trying to recoup what they could potentially lose from him. That's about
Absolutely. They're like,
Yep.
no, you ain't getting hurt over there. You can't let him get hurt. And I got one more thing.
Can you imagine the nightmare of him tearing up his knee again in the Olympics and we losing him for the season?
It's over.
The nightmare that would be. Oh my goodness. The Clippers is like, hell no. If we're gonna lose him, we're gonna lose him on our dime, not yours.
Right. Not for
hell
free.
No.
No. You gotta get hurt here and then we can figure that out. But
yes.
I think this injury does. I mean, the Clippers might be in some trouble.
Yes.
Period. Because if it's bad as it is, just like you said, rehab ain't gonna do nothing. It's gonna continue to get worse, kind of like Brandon Roy. And then it's gonna be like that same type of situation. It's like, he'll play 30 games and then be hurt. And then he's out. So it's the same thing. So I feel like, do you think they should try to get something for him, or do you think his value's too low?
If they were gonna move him, it was last year during the trade deadline, the way he was playing.
Yeah.
That was when his value was at the highest. You can't sell me this car now. I already seen the smoke in the engine. I already seen it.
Right.
I already seen. I ain't see the smoke 6 months ago. Even though the engine was bad, you cleaned it up real good. The wheels were shining. The car was smelling good. You probably could have sold it to me then.
Exactly.
Now I'm looking at I can see the smoke in the engine. I can see it. I don't want nothing to do with that. No, especially not for the price you want to sell it to me for. Hell no.
Right. You ain't getting too much for him like you could have. And I think they should have tried to get something from Paul George too, to be honest. I think
never been a fan, D. I've never been a fan of letting guys walk out the front door. Never.
For free. Like that.
Never.
Like, come on. Get value for him.
Even if there really isn't much left between us, like you ain't just walking out the front door. No, I'm getting something for you. I have
even
to.
If it don't even got to be a star. It could be like a good role player, or two or three.
I gotta get something. I can't just let you walk out the front door. I can't do that. No.
Right, because they don't. Right now, they don't got no. They ain't got nothing nobody really want except for Denver. They want Russ,
and that's coming from their best player. Like, yo, and you can endorse that. Like, bet, okay, you want him?
Right.
Okay, all right. It's not like we handing them over for a bucket of extra crispy. I mean, their best player made it clear that, yo, this is the dude we want. You want him?
Yeah.
All right, bet. No doubt.
Right. But yeah, man, good talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Do you know where to find me at, brother? Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time for me. You know what the time it is. I am not hard to find. If I'm not here, I'm on a panel weekdays 11 to 2. If I'm not on a panel, if you can't catch me on a panel, I'm on TikTok 9 a.m. Monday to Friday. And if I'm not there on Tuesday nights, I'm with my man Tony Tone. Right? I'm with my man Tony Tone, and we get busy. Yes, we do. The basketball season is still in full effect. This is one of the best times of the year to be alive. So I will keep you guys informed as much as I possibly can, and I will be around for as long as you guys want me around. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I'll talk to you guys soon, but until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys. I enjoyed that 100%.